welcome to another Get to the Roots Extra. I am Stevie's Get to the Roots Steph, or whatever other name that I might go by, Sparkle Weather if I'm painting the fancy pictures. Today we're going to start talking about a song that was released last October by Honeybee. It's called Mermaid Fishing. Here is a sample of that gorgeous song.
He's the bait. He's going fishing. Mermaid fishing, going fishing. Going fishing. Mermaid fishing tonight.
And I was so excited that Melissa May, or Honeybee, reached out to me after she had this release. And the reason is because I met her a couple years ago at my first Radio St. Pete fundraiser. I was so excited to be there. I was sick that day. I felt terrible, but I was so stoked to get on the air and try to raise some money for our local community radio station. And I'm sitting there waiting to get up there on the microphone next to Jay Kolb. And this gorgeous, beautiful, kind woman comes and sits down next to me, and she's like, "Hey, do I know you?" And I'm like, "Do I know you?" She just looks so familiar. And she thought the same thing about me. Turns out we didn't know each other. I thought I might know her through work or through some other things. Maybe we crossed paths. And we just started talking. I was like, "Oh, you're a musician?" And she told me how she did covers. And that is why I'm so excited to share with you about this release, Mermaid Fishing, because it is an original song. So she did send me some talking points about her song Mermaid Fishing back in October, and I'm going to read them to you now. The song is a fun tale about a fancy fisherman and the quest to find his mermaid. It's an up-tempo, lighthearted song, something we could use during this time of recovery period since the storms. And yes, this of course was after the ridiculous hurricanes that we had back-to-back here on the Gulf Coast of Florida. Oh my God. And then just the devastation up and down the coast of Florida these last 2 years with all these hurricanes. It's been heartbreaking. And so her song is like so up-tempo and beautiful. It's definitely got that Trop Rock feel, which makes sense because Honeybee, or Melissa May, plays with Roger Bartlett. You know, Roger Bartlett of Jimmy Buffett and other things. So, and this song was not actually written by Melissa May, but it was written by Roger Bartlett and Melissa May, aka Honeybee. And then I'm reading again. In addition to Honeybee, the song features a cast of stellar musicians, including Roger Bartlett on guitar. And he was also in the Coral Reefer Band. Sound familiar? Doyle Grisham on lap steel, also of the Coral Reefer Band. And Vinny Sepleski of the Mad Beach Band on bass. All are well known in the area and beyond. And they really are. Got to see the Mad Beach Band on the Florida Folk Show a couple years ago on the porch of the Grassman House. And man, that was fun too. So even though the song is not as new as some of the other ones that I've talked about here on Get to the Roots Extras, it's still so fun. Also, I know Nanners no longer does her Trop Rock Island Time with Nanners here on Radio St. Pete, but that was such a fun one, and I got to know Nanners personally as well, and she actually was like my person that I brought to Radio St. Pete. I'm like, hey, you might like this, and she's not even from Florida, but she embraced the Trop Rock spirit. Trop Rock is something that can bring so many people together, which is it's so cool, and they have their own charts, and not only would Honeybee and Roger Bartlett be on those charts, also the Coral Reefer Band, Mad Beach Band, Mac Martin is often on those charts, as well as Grego Anderson. All fantastic Radio St. Pete, Tampa Bay, Florida musicians out here kicking butt. And just like Florida has its own really cool music scene, and I'm so happy to report on it here for you all to be exposed to it and learn more about it. Now, shifting gears a little bit, I want to talk about Darla and wildly inspired landscape and design, her Wild Wednesdays that she's putting onto Instagram and Facebook. They're video shorts where she teaches viewers about plants specific to Florida. She goes to all of these different parks and different natural spaces in the Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg area and teaches people not only the scientific name of the plants, but she shows them on screen, and she also gives pertinent information about the plants. And Florida native plants are really cool, and we're in 10B, I believe, down here, and it's so sunny, and it's so tropical, and the sun will just all over your plants. And a full sun plant in Tampa Bay is not the same as a full sun plant anywhere else. Full sun it's like half shade down here if you don't want your plant to just just crash and burn and not thrive. It's very interesting and specific, and there's so many people that love Florida and love Florida nature, but there's so much to know. Also, I feel really personally connected to Darla because she was on the Florida Folk Show, because she's so freaking cool, because she's an expert in all of these different plants, horticulture, what grows, what doesn't grow. She's put a lot of study into this path in life, and it's so hard to get educational content out there and for it to go viral and become popular. So if you're listening to this podcast now, please go to Facebook and Instagram, if you use those, and follow Darla's wildly inspired landscape and design for her Wild Wednesdays. You'll learn something. It's super short, super cute, and just easy to follow. And she's a fast-talking, specific, very cool woman. So I'm going to play a clip of her latest Wild Wednesday up next.
Welcome to another Wild Wednesday. Today I revisited the Florida Botanical Gardens in Largo, which has so many different gardens and features. There's something for pretty much everyone. This is Monarda punctata, sometimes called bee balm or dotted horsemint, the latter probably for the polka-dotted centers of their flowers that can bloom from spring to fall. They top out around 5 feet tall, but you can trim them to keep them shorter and bushier. The literature says full sun, but be advised, this one doesn't really want to be in the full Tampa Bay sun from dawn to dusk. It is extremely drought-tolerant in the right amount of sunlight, think about 6 hours at the most, and attracts tons of pollinators. This is Verona globosa, or bloodberry, a drought-tolerant evergreen shrub with a terminal height between 6 to 10 feet, making it a great option for a privacy screen or a background plant.
See? Holy moly! She'd be so fast-talking and so cool and just knows all of the words for the different plants. So it's so cool. And it's so hard, again, to get educational content out there. And if you care at all about plants and your garden and everything that you have going on in your outdoor world, from potted plants to planting a flower bed, just if you're going out to one of the beautiful parks anywhere in Florida, her information will take you somewhere and teach you something that you probably didn't know before. So not quite a musician, but also still a creator, someone putting stuff out into the world and just really creating in the space of like social media, where we all get to be our own personal film producers, podcast producers, music producers like Honeybee. And it's incredible to me. I love this new world that we live in, where we can just put our passions out on the internet and people can find them. And that's why I want to promote all my friends, even my friends that don't know that well. Like, if you're making something out in the world, yes, let's do it. Let's put it out there. Let's feel the joy. Okay, well, that concludes this week's episode of Get to the Roots Extra. I was going to talk about my songwriting buddy, Jerome Savoie, who is up in Quebec, Canada, and we're working together on these songs. Almost every week we meet, talk about music, put songs together, working on a music video, so much stuff to talk about. And he did have a release out this year, and he sent me some voice notes, and they all were so great. I want to get them all in an episode of Get Through Its Extras, but it's going to be a long one, so I figure I'll cut this one here, make it a short one next week. Next time I get one out, it'll be a long one. After that, coming up, we also have a more in-depth broadcast we'll have with a being. It's going to send me some voice notes as well, and do another, type of technologically advanced interview where it's like, hey, I can ask you a question and you can answer it later. But Jerome sent me his first, so he's going to be up next. Anyway, I wanted him up next anyway. I wanted him in this podcast episode anyway. You can find me on all the social medias for the world. Basically, just look for Sparkle Weather. That's usually me, especially Redbubble, TeePublic, Blue Sky, Instagram. I'm Sparkle Weather Sticky. It's because someone already had that name. And TikTok. Oh, I love the TikTok. So you guys have a wonderful week out there in Musicland in St. Petersburg and Tampa Bay in Florida, wherever you are. I hope that you check out this musician, Honeybee, and I hope that you check out Darla from Wildly Inspired Landscape and Design. Both cool women that I would have met without Radio St. Pete. Again, my show is on 96.7 FM here in St. Petersburg, or radiostpete.com online Wednesdays from 3 to 5 p.m.